It was easy or it wasn't controversial. Some of the sessions were difficult ones, but really again credit to the union. I think they had an understanding that health insurance is perhaps the most important issue going on nationally. It was something that had to be dealt with, and I think they made a very good effort to take that issue on head on. They wanted something back for it, which would only be normal in collective bargaining, but they didn't try to duck the issue or kick the can down the road or any of those other cliches. They said it had to be dealt with, it had to be dealt with now, and that was something that the mediator arbitrator also encouraged the parties to do. He made that quite clear that health insurance couldn't be delayed any longer and had to be dealt with in the context of this contract. So I think all of the primary bargaining goals that the county had were accomplished here. Again, from the point of view of both sides, would they have wanted to do things a little bit differently, and from the county's point of view, paid a little bit less, from the union's point of view, contributed a little bit less. All of that would be true in every deal, but on balance, I think it's one that really reflects both the interest of the employees in having fair terms and conditions of employment, but also grants a lot of relief to the county's taxpayers, both on a current basis and especially with respect to going forward for the new hirees. And
on a regular basis, because people other than retirement do leave the job.
Yeah, they leave for several disability, retirement, some take new positions, some unfortunately get terminated.
Well, some people's wives force them to leave. That's what happened in my family. So let me just ask a question. I think that I'm reading this correctly, but something that you said, Mr. Toomey, I just want to clarify. So all members of the bargaining unit from January 1st, 2009 who retire up until this gets executed are not contributing. So all retirees that are going to retire until this contract takes effect will not contribute to health benefits. Is that correct?
Correct. They currently do not contribute, and that confirms that understanding, gives them a better guarantee that they will not be contributory.
Okay. Do you think that's going to have any impact on people's decisions, given that that's a very short window, we presume, between our discussion here and the actual execution?
Well, if I may, it doesn't require them to leave during that period of time. As long as they're on the payroll at any point in time between those two dates, then they can leave and not contribute to their retirement.
Okay.
And you're right, it would be a very fair point. You would otherwise maybe have a mass exodus during that period. That might be operationally unfeasible. So I think that's important.
Okay. The other question I have on the grievance process is, I think it's great to have John Sands. He is famous. However, is it unusual to put an individual's name in a contract like this?
It is. And Mr. Sands actually talked about the possibility of having John Sands or his successor. We did this for a reason, though. Mr. Sands was the interest arbitrator on the last award. He's also been very much involved with the parties in other disputes, and he was the mediator on this agreement. So there's a learning curve here. If we had appointed a different mediator or arbitrator, it would take us months to get them up to speed on all of the issues. So in a sense, we have gained the benefit of Mr. Sands' experience with the parties, and the union and management agreed that he's the one. He should be the person that at least gets this process introduced. If at some point he can no longer serve in that capacity, the parties would go back and try to find someone else. But sometimes it's not just the structure, it's the person.
Absolutely.
And he was the right guy on this particular transaction.
No, so it sounds like this is part of the relationship building exercise that you discussed.
Very much so.
However, God forbid, he could get hit by a bus.
He mentioned that.
It could happen.
Madam Chair, he mentioned that to the parties, but we gave him a guarantee that he will not be struck by any bus for at least the life of this time. He did bring us that issue.
That's the zipper clause.
It will be hard to find someone like him, but I think that is inevitable. By the end of the agreement, the parties will have to talk about someone else.